in a standard controller, can we give two options as a objects? I mean, two objects can we use?
No, in a standard controller, it would be working with the same object itself. It cannot refer to two different objects. In that case, we can enhance the functionality, but somehow it would be somewhere related to extension. That's a different topic. If you need to work on the two different objects, right, you should refer a controller there.
So you mean to say that we cannot give two values, two object values in the standard controller option, right?
No, the option there would, you will only able to give only one option there.
Suppose if there is a scenario in such a case, like how to do that?
Can you just give me a scenario what you're trying to depict, that you will have to give two values there?
See, we are trying to we are trying to work with two objects, wherein one is standard object and another one is custom object. So we had two objects, that is one account we had taken, and one more is bank we had taken, which we have created. So those two objects we wanted to relate it, and we wanted to code in a Visual Force to extract fields from both the objects. So is it possible?
Yeah, in that scenario, you have to use a custom controller. You cannot say that I can use a single standard controller and I can extract fields from both using a standard controller. That is something we should see today, that how using custom controllers you can extend different fields.
See, our code says that apex and colon page. In the page, after the page, we need to define the standard controller. I mean, whether we are using a standard controller or custom controller, that we need to define, right?
Right.
So in that, what I'm trying to ask you is, can we use both the standard controller as well as the custom controller?
No, the answer to that is no.
That is what I am asking you, because see, now if at all we use, if at all we want to make use of account as well as a bank, then we should be having standard controller for account and we should be having custom controller for bank.
You cannot use both together. You only have to work with. Okay, why you will require a custom controller for bank? Okay, first let's discuss on this point. You said you will require a custom controller for bank. Why so?
Because bank is not a standard object and bank is a custom object. So as since yesterday we discussed that.
So I said yesterday that for a custom objects you cannot use standard controllers.
Actually, we can make use of standard controller for custom objects as well. So wherein we need to specify the custom object with __c, right?
Okay.
So that is what yesterday we just tried. We just tried doing that also. So our question was whether we can use the standard controller as well as custom controller both at a time in a Visual Force or not.
Okay, answer to this no. Okay. Next question is, why we use standard controller? You give me a scenario wherein you would require to use standard controller also, and you would also require to use a custom controller on the same page.
For this, actually, we don't have a clear idea about for what reason we are using, specifically for what reason we use standard controller only, and for what reason we are using custom controller. And actually, yesterday what idea we had is standard controller is for standard objects and custom controller is for custom objects. So after doing that exercise, what I told you just now, bank __c. So after doing that, we got to know that in standard controller only we can use the custom object. So now there is a confusion that why we should use, especially this standard controller or custom controller. So you please explain us about that.
Okay. So I was saying one line yesterday. If you just want to change the UI and you want to keep the business logic same, I guess we have repeated this line here, right? Okay, so what does this line say?
Standard controllers we can use only when we want to change the UI and not the logic. Logic will remain same, only UI we need to change, that time we can use the standard controller. Custom means We can customize the logic as well as the UI, then the custom controller will come in a picture.
Okay. So now let's see, discuss your scenario ahead. You won't have one custom object, you have one standard object. So means you have more than one object that has to be related with that particular page, right?
Okay.
Okay. So what basically you want to do in that page then? If you have two objects, okay, fine, I have two objects. So you want to show fields from two different objects on this page, right?
Yes, right.
So coming to a scenario where you say that we picked 4 fields from account and we picked 4 fields from your custom object called bank and we displayed there somehow. Now what do you want to do with those 8 fields?
Actually, we wanted to extract and we wanted to do some relation between bank and account objects. Like bank will be having, accounts will be, many of the accounts will be there in the bank, and we had taken a complete bank scenario actually.
So put up your scenario here. Let's discuss on that, how to design that. That would be the best case to understand this, right? Instead of me taking any different scenario, then you will be relating it there. So give me a scenario. Let's discuss on that. That would be a very great scenario. So, okay, we have two different objects. One is account and one is a bank. So which one of them is master detail? Are they in a master detail relationship or they're independent?
Master detail relationship.
Okay, who is a master? Account or bank?
Account, yeah.
Account is a master. Can bank be a master of account?
No, it can't be.
Why so?
Since account is a standard object and it is like the on top of all the objects.
Okay, instead of account, let's say it was a contact. So can contact and bank be in a master detail relationship where bank is a master?
We can do that.
You can't do that. Just check it out. If you can create a master detail relationship where bank is a master and a contact, account, or an opportunity, any standard object is a detail of it. Just try to check that. Okay.
You mean to say that custom objects, whatever we create, those cannot be a master in the relationship. In the relationship, those cannot be a master, right?
I don't want to say this. You guys try to do this, then you will find the answer for that. No, we are not in hurry of that. Okay. Now let's come to that particular Visualforce page. What you want to display there? You want to capture some information on the Visualforce page, or you just want it to be a display page?
Just want it to display it.
Okay. So what do you want to display there?
Some fields from the account and some from the bank.
Okay. So means whenever that page gets open, you want to display some fields from the account and you want to display some fields from the bank.
Related fields. If you select one bank and then related accounts of that bank should be displayed, and if you select a particular account in that account related details should be displayed. So in that manner, relationship.
Okay, when you say to bank, okay, when you say you selected a bank, so anyway you click on a tab and you come to this particular page. So whenever you come to a page, a Visualforce page, there you need to provide it some input, right? Usko kaun se bank chahiye, right? So from where you are going to select the banks? You need to select the banks from somewhere, right?
So first we need to create some records in the bank object.
Okay, we created some records in the bank object. Uske baad how that page will open? उसको आपने किसी Visualforce टैब में डाल दिया, राइट?
हाँ.
तो अभी उस टैब पे ऊपर क्लिक किया तो it will open a blank page. Which all banks records should be shown there? How it will do it? उसको कैसे पता चलेगा? Which all banks should be shown there? How it will be able to show that?
See, basically now we have 5 banks, then all the 5 banks will be displayed initially. So whichever bank you choose to be selected for the further details, then that bank will be selected, and according to that bank selection the related accounts will be shown. This is a scenario that we are telling.
So this is a scenario. Okay. So in this scenario, is it a single page or is it a multiple pages? There are two pages in this scenario, right? Then one page is you display a list of the banks, and another page is you display the according bank there, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a single page, it's a multiple pages, right?
Yes.
So now in both the scenarios, you can easily use standard objects in both the ways. There is no issue with using standard objects in any of these.
Yeah. Account we can make use of.
So here what I was saying was it's basically a two-page process, right? Not a one-page process. So in one page you will use a standard controller. Let's do that. So what you will do is it would be a first page that would display a simple records. All the accounts that would be shown up there would be all the accounts that are available in the system. Now in a standard page, it will require some records to show up, right?
Yeah.
So that is where it means you will need to put in some query for that, right? That whenever that particular page is loaded, it should query and extract the record and show there. That is how you can show the details there. Otherwise, how you will show that?
Yes.
Now let's say I created my new page. Now when this particular page loads, you need to display that, okay, these are the 20 records that you want to display here, right? Let's associate it with an account record. Let's associate it with an standard controller account. And then let's associate it with a record. So now what we are doing here is there's another attribute that's basically used here. There's a record set where we discussed on this. What basically this does is, so we are using a standard controller here. What did this standard controller do for us is it basically, it's associated with a standard controller. We are doing nothing, but we are just putting a list of the accounts. So it will randomly take accounts and it will just show them here. Okay. So now if you click on this particular account, that was your requirement, right? If you click this particular account, in the second page, you want to show the related records to that, right? That is how we want to show that.
Yes.
So very first thing we have to do is we have to make this as a hyperlink. Okay? Hyperlink, when you click on this link, it should go to a new screen wherein it will open the required details जो हमें दिखाने हैं. Whatever fields we want to show there, it should display those fields there. That is something we require there. So first of all, you need to make it as a hyperlink. So to make it a hyperlink, the tag that you need to use for that is fx out output link. So let's say you open this to a particular ID. So now this particular record is being as a hyperlink. So right click it and open it, see how it goes. So as of now it will open, it will say it doesn't found anything. So you need to give it So as of now we achieve is whenever you click on this particular any of this account, it will open that particular only account detail. But what we require is we want to open a new page. So what we'll do is we will create a new page for that and we'll try to display the records there. So first, as of now you understood what I used on this particular page, how we are able to make it as a hyperlink. Line number 3 is a tag that is used for create a Apex data table. So tag that is used to create this particular list like this. This dot notation and these are part of this particular Apex data list. Otherwise, another thing what you can do is you can use Apex table. Then it will be displaying in form of a table there. That's the use of this second tab. A variable unit. So these are two important values. This is a variable that will be using down the line, and this is value. This basically defines which particular list you want to iterate and show here. The list we said is we want accounts list to be displayed here. So this record set where this is a main item in this particular page. This particular attribute is basically it will randomly pick the accounts, all the accounts, and show it here. So whenever you use record set where in a standard controller, it is associated with a query like select star from account. That's all. Okay, so all the accounts that are there in the system would be coming up in this particular list. Okay, in this list.
Why that var is equal to a over there?
First of all, understand this particular value. Okay, what you give in this value? Value basically you give is you give a list of the records. Now whenever you are iterating through this, you can give anything value. It's a variable name. Var means a variable name. What is a variable name? For loop को कैसे iterate करते हो?
Oh, okay, fine, understood.
Okay, you give a variable name that is used for that. Accordingly, this is a variable that has been given here. You can give a ACC. That ACC can be used here. That is how it particularly works. This particular data list iterates and automatically gives how many records are there would be populated here. So it works like a for loop for you. Now inside this, what we have done is we have used a hyperlink, output link. What it will do is it will make this as a hyperlink. Instead of just displaying it like this, it will make it as a hyperlink. So whenever you click on this particular value, it would be transversing it to this particular record. Abhi, if we have a record ID, right? हम ऐसे ही करते हैं ना. If you have a record ID, you go to Salesforce. Let's say I want a record ID here. Let me. Okay, so if I have a record ID with me, I just give it in the URL and I can open that record, right? So similar thing I am doing here. We have done here. We know that we have the record IDs. So we have given him in the value, we have given him this. That this is a relative part. After the Salesforce know that this has to be done after this particular part. So this to give him the only ID and it will open to that particular record. So this is how we have created this as a hyperlink. Now there is another attribute into this that basically talks about target. So if I say target equal to blank, so what it's doing is it's opening it directly, it's opening that in a new window, right? If I remove this target equal to blank and refresh it, you click on this, it would be opening in the same window. Getting the point?
Yes.
So this is how you can play around with the different attributes. The question, anxiety that might be coming to you guys is that how do we need to remember all these attributes of a tag? It all depends on the scenario and it's a practice. So we use this a couple of times, so I know that okay, we can use a target there and that will help us in opening it in another tab. So keep on using it, you will keep on remembering it. Only thing is, let's say now you get a requirement that I need to open a click in a next window. Just go to Google, type your requirement, get the things from there and you can use them. Okay, you don't need to memorize the stuff here. So that is how we created this particular page. Now let's say when I click on this particular account, I want to display a list of opportunities, okay, which all opportunities are associated with this particular account. That is one case. But for your case was other way around. You want expenses and those expenses should be displayed here, right? That is how you want to show that, right? So what you can do is, let's say I have an expense record. I don't have a bank here, so I will use expense for that. Fine. The relationship would remain the same. Master detail between account and that. So it's a lookup to find. That's fine with us. No issues. So what I do is, let me create one more Apex page. Okay, let's change this into expense. So what we did is we changed this into expense and rest all can remain the same. No issues. So now it's referring to an expense page. So it's only showing me one expense. So you click on this, you want to open a new, what do you call it, as a account page for that, to whichever account it is related to, right? So here what you will pass? You will pass the account ID or the expense ID.
I think we should pass the account ID.
Alright, so if you pass the account ID here, that can be very easily achieved with that. So I just give him the account ID there. Fine. And let's click on save. What we need to add here is, we need to give the page to which we need to move it, right? So what was my page? So we need to create a page for account. If you just give it like this, it will also open that same. Click it on here and it will open that particular account. So need not create a different page also. Okay. To just display, if you just want to transmit to the account, you need not create a page. But let's say you want to display only a couple of fields for that. What you do is you create a new page. My account details. Create this account. Let's copy this stuff from here and put it here. Okay. And let's relate it with account. So we don't want to display all the accounts. Let's remove this list from here, right? We don't want this. We don't want this to be there, and we don't want this here. Even though you guys can remove everything here. Let's just show it as an account.name. So this is a page because there is no record associated with it. Just copy this part. Now in the output link you need to add this here. Now see the difference. It displays that account name. So that is what we're trying to achieve. Then we can debug the code accordingly. Okay. So our target, our aim is achieved.
Yes.